Hey everybody, Narathan Dragonborn here, and as you may know, Goji Center is hosting a hybrid war. Now, if you don't know, this hybrid war is basically a competition for which creature would best stand against the hybrid creature created by the mad genius minds at Goji Center, Indominus Rex 2.0. Indominus 2.0 is meant to trigger a small-scale extinction event that can potentially become global scale. It is a direct upgrade of the original Indominus Rex from Jurassic World. Now, there have been a plethora of other hybrid creatures that have been created to take down the Indominus 2.0. Most notably, Goji Guy's Hank, Madly Mesozoic's Deciotherium Deus, also known as Samson, and Dangerville's Primatus Rex. Now, interestingly enough, when I first heard about this hybrid war, I had been creating my first actual original hybrid all day, and learned about the hybrid war in the afternoon. Now, the hybrid that I was creating that day was my first original hybrid, but technically not my first, as my first was basically me taking a popular toy and making an adaptation of it as an epic and terrifying hybrid dinosaur monster. Krypton. Yes, the untamed fingerling. I decided to incorporate multiple aspects of the media multiverse into Krypton. I gave it a whole story and everything, and even made a photoshopped picture of it, which you can see here in the short version, as a video that I made long ago that I'm very proud of. Cue the clip!
Radiation Arrival 3, Project Log, Logkeeper, Orin Kraish. Project Admin, Carmen Rotero. Project Location, Valguero, Shulk Hills Facility. Project Duration, 61 days. Project Goal, revive the deceased through the use of radioactive energy and a soul gem. Subject name, RS3K, aka Krypton. Subject species, T-Rex, scientific name Tyrannosaurus Rex. Hybridized with Reaper, scientific name Formidosmitherigia. Subject age, 82,379 years. Subject location, Shulk Hills, Valguero. Subject status, escaped and hostile. Synopsis. Attempt 1, resurrection failed. Bones turned to orange-brown color. Attempt 2, resurrection failed. Soul gem cracked. Attempt 3, resurrection failed. Skeleton briefly flashed blue. Attempt 4, resurrection failed. Blue spots briefly appeared on bones. Attempt 5, resurrection failed. Soul gem began glowing blue. Attempt 6, resurrection failed. Magno-Kryptonite confirmed RS3K to be from Krypton. Attempt 7, resurrection failed. Brief blue glow in Skull's eye holes. Attempt 8, resurrection failed. Blue spots reappeared and grew into crystals. Attempt 9, resurrection failed. Brief appearance of ghost-like outlines of organs and skin. Attempt 10, resurrection failed. Shriveled organs and thin layer of skin restored. Attempt 11, RS3K resurrected. Escaped containment and killed multiple workers. This project has been terminated and identified as a success with major casualties.
Now, credit to Akata88 on DeviantArt for their nuclear T-Rex, which was the original picture that I used to Photoshop that from. And of course, there is a much longer and more detailed story from the perspective of the logkeeper Orin Kraish in the format of, well, a project log. But as I said before, technically, this is not my original hybrid. It is my first one, but it's not an original hybrid, as I did pretty much just make an adaptation of a cool toy. As for the hybrid I was making on the day that I heard of the Hybrid War, it's inspired, in some ways, by Krypton, including its name, Xenon, or Radiosaurus xenoregi. This hybrid is created using the DNA of 8 main species: Gojira arcus, Zemonocora novaculothos, Formidos mesoregia, Spinosaurus aquareliga, Velociraptor antiropus mazrani, Canis lupus familiaris, Crotophytus colaris, and Sepia apama. Now, I'm very proud of making this hybrid. I think it looks awesome. I think it turned out awesome. Now, I would have loved to submit Xenon against the Indominus 2.0, but it's part Titan, so it's not gonna fit. Also, you can't use Arc creatures either. So, with that in mind, I started from scratch. And over the next 3 weeks, I created a new hybrid with the help of some friends, with the code name Shaded Eclipse. Shackle. Scientific name Siderodon therabacillus. A hybrid creature genetically engineered to take down Indominus 2.0, created by the mad genius minds at Goji Center. Shackle was created by the Dragonborn-sponsored genetic hybrid laboratory Xenotanis, which also created Xenon, with Narathan Dragonborn himself as the lead geneticist on this particular project, heading a team of 4 others who helped determine what its genetic makeup should be. The particular individual entering into the hybrid war will be a battle-trained female Shackle named Darkside. The Shackle is a facultative biped with a height of 9.1 meters, a length of 15.5 meters, and a weight of 9,415 kilograms. Shackle's genome is made up of 11 creatures: Elephas americanus, Pan troglodytes, Mellivora capensis, Desmodus rotundus, Arctodus pristinus, Ursus arctos middendorfi, Canis lupus familiaris, Leviathan melvillae, Blarina brevicauda, Panthera tigris altaica, and Erythazon dorsatum. In order to stand against Indominus 2.0, Shackle must take the size of its largest contributor, Leviathan, and in order to stand at all with such a size, it will utilize the powerful limbs of the Mastodon, the Short-Faced Bear, and the Kodiak Bear, with bear DNA collaborating with that of a chimpanzee to make this creature a facultative biped with opposable thumbs, enhanced dexterity, and claws, also contributed by honey badger and Siberian tiger DNA. But how would they work with the mentioned contributors? By creating a balance between the structure of a chimpanzee's hand and a tiger's front paw, using the overall build of the former with the distal phalanges of the latter. The claws would be able to retract when not being used, but also easily able to extend into sharp and devastating weapons when needed. While they may seem small on its hands, keep its overall size in mind, for these claws, as well as its teeth, are comparable in size and sharpness to large blades. In fact, speaking of which, its mighty teeth are courtesy of several creatures. Their sharpness and strength are contributed by the badger and the vampire bat, the latter of which also contributes anticoagulant saliva that prevents its victim's blood from clotting. These teeth are quantified, literally, by the contributor of its size, Leviathan. And this is where I messed up during submission. I did not realize until after submission had ended that Leviathan only has 1 row of teeth. I thought it had 2 because the friend of mine who suggested Leviathan in the first place said it had 2 rows of teeth. However, Leviathan does still have a lot of teeth, and so perhaps that could be why Shackle has extra teeth, and they are just offset because of the jaw structure. Either that, or Goji Center could just take out the extra teeth. Either way works, as long as my stupid mistake does not cost Darkside her chance at fighting the Indominus 2.0. Back to what makes its teeth such deadly weapons. Due to the inclusion of Northern Short-Tailed Shrew DNA, a feature shared with the Indominus 2.0, the aforementioned anticoagulant saliva provided by the vampire bat also contains paralytic venom, and its teeth, including the tusks that it receives from the mastodon, are reinforced with iron built into the enamel. This creature is already very strong, but what if it finds itself in a tough spot? It will just be tougher than the spot and continue to fight back, due to its honey badger genes, which also give it resistance to most venoms and poisons, and it will persist until its target is slain. This could make a Shackle reckless at times, but Darkseid, the individual Shackle being submitted to the hybrid war, has been trained to overcome this, and be smart about considering her own health in battle. On top of that of a badger, its bulk is further increased with the inclusion of the largest living terrestrial carnivore, the Kodiak bear, whose thick coat and strength are also brought to the table. The previously mentioned chimpanzee genome also enhances the hybrid's intelligence, which is also contributed to by the DNA of a dog, and perhaps that of a mastodon as well, if it was as intelligent as its modern-day relatives. Dog DNA also allows for it to be trainable by and obedient to those it has bonded with. A border collie specifically has been chosen for being known as the most intelligent breed of dog. Thanks to tough contributors like the Kodiak bear, the honey badger, and the mastodon, its hide is thick with thick fur to match, making it difficult for its enemy's claws to penetrate. But to protect itself further, it has been given the quills of a porcupine, which will painfully penetrate anything that tries to scratch or bite the hybrid. Using its strong senses and its ability to echolocate, provided by both the vampire bat and the northern short-tailed shrew, it can counter the camouflage of the Indominus Rex 2.0. Shackle does not utilize the dense bones of Leviathan. However, from this contributor, its bones are slightly denser than normal, specifically in its spine and limbs. Enough to strengthen, support, and stabilize its large skeleton, but not enough to be a major hindrance to it. Well, that we are. So before I end the video, I'd just like to give a great thanks to the 4 people who helped me create this hybrid. My friends, if you're watching, you know who you are. Thank you so much. And lastly, one more special shout out to Madly Mesozoic himself for a little piece of advice he gave me from one mammalian hybrid creator to another. Madly, I hope I heeded your advice well. Thank you. Now thank you all so much for watching. And please do like and subscribe if you'd like to support me and Darkseid. And I'm excited to see how the hybrid war turns out. May the best hybrid win. Thank you all so much for watching. Goodbye, everybody.